David Gray, welcome back to Noise 11. This time talking about the fact you're going to come back to Australia, which is great news.
Yeah, very exciting. And to see the appetite from the ticket sales that we've already seen from the off, it does whet the appetite. This is a sort of relationship that has built over the years and obviously consolidated into something very passionate and that feels very special. So it's one thing when you sell out on the White Ladder anniversary, but when you just come back with another record and a different concept, it's something again. So it's very exciting. We're all buzzed about it.
I'm really pleased too that you've taken the time out to do some dress rehearsals in the UK, Ireland, Netherlands, Belgium, Denmark, US and Canada before coming to Australia.
We thought we needed to get ourselves in shape before we got down under. So yeah, we've had a fantastic tour. It's been crazy intense. I've been off the road for just over a month and just basically coming back to myself in the last couple of weeks now. It's quite a different way to exist, and I don't think I'm even really aware of how vexed my sort of condition becomes when you're in a sort of permanent adrenaline cycle, which is what touring is. It's basically you're relying on that. You're on a sort of sleep-deprived wheel that sort of keeps turning, and each day you've got to turn up in a different way, in a different place, and tell the story in a slightly different way again. So it was super intense. I wanted it to be very emotionally present, this tour, and lots of things have happened in and around the tour. Our guitarist got sick and couldn't come on the tour, and we had to hastily remake the band. And then people have died during the tour and got ill, and there's a sort of sense of a strong sense of emotional reality that's in the air the whole time, and the fact that this process is finite. We're not going to be able to do this forever. So I think it's sharpened the flavors of the tour sort of from the very off, and they've only been intensified as we've gone along with all the drama that's been playing out behind the scenes, and that's translated into amazing gigs. There's nowhere to hide. This is about showing everything that I have. The context of the music is really what this tour is, in part an explanation, a contextualizing of songs going way back. Well, I'll explain where some of them came from and the way it felt when we made them. So it's been quite a sort of almost encyclopedic view of a period of my life in terms of the making process and sharing that process with audiences. But it's been really rich. I mean, it's been even better than I dreamed it was going to be. So we've got all the big songs in there. It's very much a greatest hits set. And then we do a deep dive into either one or two records each night from the past, slow motion or lost songs or whatever it is each night. It changes. And the set will evolve by 7, 8, 9, 10, sometimes 11 songs each night as I switch around the new songs that are in. So it's always very different. Even if we play 2 or 3 nights in the same place, it won't be the same set or anything like it. And I think that the fans have kind of got into that. There is an element of the fans that just want to hear those big songs. They've turned up to hear Sail Away, Babylon, Please Forgive Me, The One I Love, whatever. But I'd say most of the fans are there for the journey, and that's what makes the show really work. So it's been hugely exciting and hugely rewarding, but not without a certain amount of sort of emotional burnout, because I think from just being so present on stage, it's almost, I didn't really realize how much of me had been used up until I stopped. And then I've struggled. It's like a goldfish taken out of the bowl for a few weeks. I'm just like almost lunging back into work because I don't know what else to do to sort of stabilize myself. And the only way I can think of is to make things. But you have to give that moment some time, I think. Otherwise, you just kind of knee-jerk reaction kind of stuff. I think I need to come back to yourself more fully before you can write more fully.
Dear Life is an album I love. Clearly, it's an album you love because you've played pretty much everything off the album. In my research, it looks like The Messenger and More Than Anything may not have been played. Have they popped up anywhere?
The Messenger and More Than Anything we haven't done. We didn't rehearse them. So they kind of came out as bonus tracks, if you like, on the vinyl. So we haven't woven them into the set. There was talk of trying to. But the truth is that when you've got songs with momentum, like Plus and Minus or Leave Taking or After the Harvest, it's much easier to accommodate them in the set because you can kind of keep the rhythm of moving forward. But songs that are more reflective, there's only so many of those you can play per night, unless you want to sort of send everyone into a kind of sort of strange, sort of, I don't know, half awake state if you want to just take the pace of the whole set right down. So it's harder to accommodate things that are sort of more fragile.
Talia Ray, who appears on the record, are you bringing her to Australia?
No, it's just this is just the harsh realities of cost and all the rest of it. So she doesn't have a deal that would make that possible. So how I'm going to accomplish the duet is a matter of conjecture at this point. But I'm maybe going to recruit an Australian voice while I'm there to join me. So we'll have to see about that. That's all in process.
You've done, what, 6 tours so far? This will be the 7th tour, and playing in some iconic Australian venues. In Melbourne, playing at the Palais Theatre, and Sydney at the State Theatre. The Palais Theatre dates back to 1927, the State Theatre 1929. On this tour, you've also played some historic venues as you've been travelling around. Massey Hall, the Beacon Theatre in New York, Royal Albert Hall. Is there something special about a vintage, a historic theatre that inspires a concert more, or is a stage to you?
Both answers are true, but one without doubt, there's music in the walls in these places. And there's a sense of occasion that comes with going to one of those places as an audience member. So there's unquestionably a frisson. The ones you've just reeled off were all absolutely incredible shows. Likewise, the Ryman in Nashville, which was absolutely insane. The Royal Albert Hall was just on another level. I don't know what happened this time. I've played it before, but this just went nuts. That was incredible, that show. And we had the horn section in for that one show to play some of the songs off Dear Life, etc. So that gave it an extra bump as well. That was on next level. That was the gig of the tour so far, that one. But yes, it works. It works to G you along. I mean, when you're doing a different show every night, yeah, you turn up at some kind of place, like, oh right, here we are, another show. But if you turn up at the Royal Albert Hall, you turn up at Massey Hall or whatever, you know you're somewhere, and you think of all the people who've played there, from Miles Davis, Niels Young, whatever. If you're in the Ryman, Dolly Parton, Johnny Cash, whatever it is, you're thinking Gillian Welsh. You know all the people who've poured their heart and soul into that room, and the audience are in on that. And one thing I've noticed in this kind of Instagram age that we seem to live in, where nothing is about cycles, it's all about the moment and being the ultimate you, and this sort of sense of the live gig being this moment that you're having with somebody, is that people are kind of buying into almost like holiday destinationing these shows. So when we were in the Ryman, as I was doing the VIP beforehand, I was 50 different people. I was taking photos with people. I was saying, "Are you from Nashville?" They were going, "No, we've come from Atlanta." "Are you from Nashville?" "No, we've come from Canada." "You from Nashville?" "No, we've come from London." And people are flying in from all over. It's the same with Red Rocks up in Denver there. People it's like a destination gig. And I think the same thing of definitely true of the Royal Albert Hall. People came from all over the place to go to that show because it just has a ring to it. So it's become like the sort of Instagrammable kind of, there is this other thing that's going on. It's like there's a kind of currency to being in the right place and upping the ante of what your social media feed is going to say. So I see that going on as a process. But for me personally, anyway, I love the old venues. I mean, Jesus, I'm a bit of an old venue myself. It's an old venue.
You and me both, buddy. Yeah, but the Palais Theatre, where you will be playing in Melbourne, and you have played before in 1965, that was the venue where the Rolling Stones played their very first Australian tour, and their support act was Roy Orbison. So there's history in them walls.
Wow, that's somehow the wrong way round for 1965. That's crazy. That's a mad support. Whoa, yeah, whoa. I bet that was an insane gig. I mean, people just freaked out. It wasn't so much a gig, it was just a screaming fest, wasn't it?
I don't know. I wasn't there. I can
Yeah,
honestly say I was too young for that one, David.
yeah. Well, that's a great venue. I'd say that's a proper rock and roll room. That's the one down in St Kilda, isn't it? The big one.
Absolutely. Yep. That's the one.
Yeah, that's a great it's a great room. I mean, they could do with sprucing the backstage up a bit if anyone's listening.
You've been doing Just Can't Get Enough by Depeche Mode. I mean, I've always loved the covers you've done, whether it's been New Order or Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, whatever, but Just Can't Get Enough. How'd you come across that one for this tour?
It's whatever. Just I mean, obviously that's an amazing song, absolutely amazing song. It's hard not to like it. It's just so ridiculously melodic, and those sevenths that they put in the harmony are just like, yeah. So I was just singing for the Pharaoh when I was learning it on the piano, and I was looking for where covers could come, and I just went into that at the end of it, and I thought, yeah, this will work. So yeah, that's obviously a big moment. It's a bit of fun, really. It's like a throwaway thing, but a melody that everybody loves and just gets the room moving.
There's songs, like Babylon, for instance, is probably your most played song. Have you ever not played that?
Yeah. I've just been reflecting because it's the 20th anniversary of Life in Slow Motion and in September. And there's going to be a commemorative 20th anniversary edition on vinyl for the first time. And then it will be followed by a lot of unreleased music. That was a very rich period of songwriting and recording. So I've just been doing a bit of sort of stuff to relate to it, and looking back at some of the set lists and something on that tour as it embarked, I thought, no, I've made a record here that I can be proud of. I'm not going to be playing Babylon every night. I'm going to play this. And I didn't play Babylon very much at the beginning of that tour, and it became like a news story. So I remember in Glasgow that they went absolutely nuts, and I played Babylon as a final encore, and then it was like, he played Babylon. And so I was trying to resist, but I mean, you've got to realize what it felt like at that time to be kind of trapped, like sort of, in this old idea that I didn't know what to do with. I couldn't find a new way to play the song. It was just like, so just resisting that sort of jukebox factor. But I'm past all that now. I'm kind of turned around to face everything. I think as long as I'm clear about what I'm doing, so this is like a greatest hits tour essentially, but with a lot more besides. It's got the new music and some real deep dives in it. So it's as long as you tell the audience to be prepared, this is what you're going to be going through, then I feel that it goes pretty well. So if I did the Skellig tour, I said that I'm not going to be playing anything from those big songs, or you won't hear any. None. I mean, so I was nice and clear, and just occasionally you'll have Babylon. Someone turns up who's bought on the secondary ticketing market. They didn't know what the drill was. It's just David Gray gig, and they've come with the girlfriend on a Saturday night, and they're like, they want to hear it, mate. But generally that sort of informing the audience ahead of time what they can expect is my kind of tactic. So there will be tours when I'll be playing all the big songs, and tours when I'm resting them and just doing exactly what I want to do without having to feel like I need to oblige.
Bob Dylan likes to improvise with his songs. How precious are you about keeping it to what it sounds like on the record?
Sometimes I want to do it like on the record, and sometimes I want to make it different. And just depends. It's just however you can feel it. I mean, I've seen Dylan interpret his songs in ways that I couldn't even recognize the song. I haven't been to see him for a long time, and I didn't really get the feeling he was feeling very much at all. There's like just changing it for the sake of change. I guess something good could happen, and you're kind of allowing the possibility that something might happen rather than just definitely playing it the way everyone expects. But there's the way things are fashioned in the heat of the moment, and the decisions that are made, the sonic decisions, the sort of structural decisions, that kind of is part of the song as well. And it can feel really good to actually reenact those things really well. So I found that with recreating White Ladder, after years of changing it and playing it in different ways, when we actually did it like the record. And these days with the technology and the sort of miniaturization of the technology, it's possible to do all kinds of things that we couldn't do at the time. I really, really enjoyed it, and it had a kind of effect on me, like a bodily effect, almost hearing the old sounds really loud. And whoa, yeah, this is it. It's like so. So both things are true. I think sometimes you want to change things and reinterpret things, and other times you want to be faithful to them.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you down here for a seventh time. 22 years you've been touring Australia, David. So thank you for all the time we've had you down here. Looking forward to the Australian shows in 2025, and great to see you here again at Noise 11.
Thank you very much.